Hello, welcome to my podcast, Knitting on the Farm. My name is Angela and I'm coming to you from County Down in Northern Ireland. You can find me in all the usual places. I am on Instagram with all the underscores as Knitting on the Farm. My Ravelry page is Knitting on the Farm, which is all one word. Our little Ravelry podcast group is Knitting on the Farm, all one word again, podcast group. And I'm also here on YouTube. And if you want to contact me privately, my email address is knittingonthefarm@gmail.com. And I have a little link in my Instagram bio that will take you through to those places, hopefully a little bit easier to find. So yeah, it's just been over a couple of weeks from my last podcast, and anyone here in the United Kingdom and throughout the world really has come under a lot of changes in those 2 weeks. It's hard to comprehend that our world has went into a state of lockdown. For many countries, this has been for quite a few weeks. For the United Kingdom here, Monday evening brought in the major lockdown with quite strict socialising and social distancing rules, trading rules, and generally our country at the moment is on the basis that you only go outside when it's absolutely necessary, and that is for a little exercise or necessities at the shop or at the pharmacy. So it has made a lot of changes. I think for us as a family, maybe living in the countryside where we are quite isolated, the most of the time it's maybe slightly easier and we appreciate that very much. But when you're told to isolate and cut down your movement, that's very different than just being isolated for where you live. So we've had a lot of things to think about, and we've had a lot of measures that we've had to put in place on the farm for getting our milk collected, for getting our meal delivered, and we are doing that to the best of our ability to keep the drivers safe, to keep the boys safe on the farm. And there are challenges just that maybe we didn't think of that we need to adhere to now, but thankfully so far everything's going quite well, and we have to be thankful for that. So today I'm going to cover some finished things, some things that are on my needles, some items that are maybe coming up, which is very unorganized. And then I have to announce the winner of the 200 subscriber giveaway. I think now we're over 400 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. But I had organized this for 200 subscribers. So I used the YouTube comment picker, and I will pop a photograph in just of the winner, just so that you can see that I did it. But the winner was Vicky Shaw, and it was post number 31. And she said that her favourite thing is knitting. I have read all the comments and they were amazing. And some of them were really, really humbling. And I thank you all very much for putting a comment below the last episode, and I hope that you enjoyed reading other people's comments as well. The other thing then that has been set up in both my group and in the Wee So and So podcast group is our Leap into Spring make along, and I seen that quite a few comments have been made in both groups. I am hosting the garment section of the make along, and Kaz of the Wee So and So is hosting the accessories section, and we're both running chatter threads and we're both running the finished object thread. And this will run from well, it was running for sort of in around the 20th of March, or from when I last podcast, and it's running through to the end of June. Kaz is also running her spring sweater make along. I think that's what she calls it. You can pop across there and see what she calls it anyway. But if you have a sweater entered for it, you might as well enter it into my garment section, and you can have a double entry. The prizes for it are ongoing, and we'll see how it goes. And just when I'm mentioning prizes, Vicky, if you could get in contact with me either through a private message on Instagram or on Ravelry, or email me with your details. I think maybe in the current light with postage, etc., I will add the prize as a Ravelry pattern, and that way I'm not asking anybody to go out to the post office, and there's a better chance that nothing will get lost in the post either. So just under the circumstances, I will do that, and then the prizes that I have, we can use them for the make along. So if that's okay, we'll do that. And I think that's probably all the announcements. Do take part in the chatter thread. I've enjoyed the comments that I've been reading so far, and some people have already got organised what they're going to knit, and it'll be great to see some of the finished objects. You just need to belong to both our podcast groups and just subscribe to both our YouTube channels, and I'll put all the links down below of where you can find the wee so and so as well, and that'll leave it easier for you. So yes, I'm looking forward to that, and it'll be nice to have something for leaping into spring on the needles at the moment. I think it'll cheer us all up. So let's start then with some finished things. So I have finished my Fieldfare socks, and if you have been watching, you'll know that they are knit in yarn that I have purchased through Sherry Aris, and it is her the Life of Birds Sock Club this year it's called, and this was the January yarn, and I've talked about these in my last podcast, but that's them finished. I am really pleased with them. They've turned out very well. I don't know whether I said in my last podcast or not, but I have found that my tension has changed quite a bit, and these turned out slightly bigger than what my normal socks would. So I have a different recipient for these. My uncle's going to get them. So the pattern that I used then was the makeup of the Mabel sock pattern. I knit these toe up, and I used it from So Sweet Violet for my toe, which she calls her beanie toe. And then, if you can see, I did the heel from her pattern as well. And then the actual pattern in the socks was the It'll Be Fine, and it is by Dimi Reed, and I did the usual, I think it was 48 rows on the foot, and well, I can tell you exactly if anybody wants to know. Sorry, the foot I did 70 rows, and the leg I did 64, and I think that's probably where I made the mistake in doing the 70 rows in the foot. But they're not wasted, and I know my uncle will really appreciate those, so I can get them popped off in the post now. So that was my Fieldfare socks in the Life of Birds Sock Club yarn for January. It gives a nice texture, if you can see it. and it wasn't complicated. It just gives a wee bit of interest. So I enjoyed knitting those. And that's how much of the yarn I had left. So I'd probably get enough there for to do a small pair of socks for my grandchildren. And that was just that's the little tag that comes with it. So that was good. Then I've also finished another pair of socks, and these are my February socks. And the bird that was focused on for February was the blue jay bird. And again, it's from my sock club. And that's how much yarn I have left. And then this is what I have left of the contrast. I loved the way the contrast was so subtle in comparison to the main colour, and this represents the colour of the eggs, and I really liked that, and I love it the way it turned out in the socks. So this was the ball band, or the skein band, for the February. And then that was the little bird. I think it's Sherry's son Chris that does the artwork, and it just makes it so special. And if you watch my knitting journal podcast extra, you'll see how I'm keeping these labels. So the sock pattern that I chose to knit that yarn in was from Little Bobbins, who is Danny George, and I chose her Faithful Friend sock pattern, and I really loved knitting these socks. I just loved the pattern, and I loved the texture. Now I knit these just on the same needle size, the 2.25, and they seem to be fine, so I'm not sure whether it's knitting toe up or whether it was because the other socks had a less complex pattern on them, as to why they turned out bigger. But I'll show you, I'm knitting another pair at the moment on a 2mm needle, and I think that's what I'm going to have to go down to. But this is the sock. And I have the other one. So you can see just how subtle the contrast is. Sorry. And I really like that. I did the Eye of Partridge heel, and I just did it in the main colour. And for those I did the cuff, I did the 20 rows, and I did the 2x2 rib, and the leg I did the 72 rows, and that was what the pattern called for. And then I did just my own heel, and I lifted 17 stitches plus 1 like I normally do. And then the foot I did 48 rows, and then I did the toe as per the pattern this time for a change, and it's in the contrast colour. So yeah, I'm really pleased with those, and I think the nice blue colour and coming into the blue skies, I think those will be nice and bright to wear, so I can put them into my sock box now that I have them finished and now that you've seen them. So yeah, that's the February socks then from the sock club, and the bird was the blue jay bird. So I'll set them down there. Then the other thing that I have finished, I'm sure you can see here. Let me just find my notes again because I'm not very organized. Sorry for that. So you can see then the other item that I finished is my snow melt shawl. It is just literally, that's probably another reason why I didn't just podcast at the weekend, because I wanted to have this blocked to show you that I can wear it. The pattern is by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade, and the yarn that I chose to knit it in was purchased from Craft House Magic. That is Ellie, and it is her camel and silk base. And I'll just get you the makeup of the yarn. I purchased the 3 colours, and the first colour is the Circle in the Sand, and the second contrast is Heaven is a Place on Earth, and the third one is called I Get Weak, and it's the grey colour. So that's what I have left out of the 100 gram skein. Each skein is, sorry, can't even remember without looking. Each skein is 400 meters per 100 gram. It's 50% camel and 50% silk. So I can put these into a nice cowl. I might actually put them into and make another snuggle down cowl. I have enough mohair left to do that. It would be interesting to see how that would come out. These wee ball bands come from my friend Di, who is Knitting Bunting on Instagram, and her shop is called Elm Tree Yarns. They come with various poppers, and you can tighten it up as the ball gets smaller, and they keep it nice and compact in your knitting bag. So I'm not sure whether I think she maybe has some in the shop at the moment. You can pop across and see. It's Elm Tree Yarns. So this is the shawl. It turned out extremely well. I'm really pleased with it. Sorry. It blocked so much bigger than I expected, and I just love the way the edging turned out, and the ends are all woven in. And it's ready to wear. I haven't put it on very well, but there you go. I think it's lovely. I was a bit concerned about the colours because I thought the two more natural tones were quite close when I was knitting them, but I think when you see it on, you can distinguish between them no problem. So I am going to get some photographs taken of that, and I will put them up into the podcast. So yeah, that's my snow melt shawl. I just was looking when I started it, and I thought I had been at it forever, but I think I just started it in I just started it in January, so within a couple of months I had it finished. And I suppose considering I knit all the other things, all the other socks and things, I didn't do too bad. So yeah, that's the snow melt shawl. I love Helen Stewart's patterns because they come with a little percentage system in each row down the side, and you can, you know, tick them off as you go along. And the pattern was both charted and written. This pattern came out, I think, in 5 clues at some stage. So even that was nice, because you could work to the end of each clue, and you really felt as though you were accomplishing something. You could feel your progress as you went along. And I just knitted with the needles and just exactly to the pattern. So there was no changes there. So that's my finished things, my 2 pairs of socks and my shawl. I think that's everything, yeah. So what have we on the needles at the moment? There's not really very much, actually, because the time I got those finished, I've now podcast and I haven't taken the rush to put things onto the needles. I find just with the whole life situation, it's been a wee bit harder to settle, and I haven't just had the same urge to sit down and knit as much. I'm finding it harder to content myself. So I'm hoping that over the days that'll settle down and I will get back into my knitting more. So on the needles then, I've cast on another pair of socks for Andrew. I'm just keep plodding away at the socks for him, get them into the drawer and get a good stock built up for him. These ones here then, it's just a plain sock. He has found, out of trying them on, that toe up is the best fit for him. So that's what I'm going to do from now on. I thought the heel flap and gusset was what he really liked, but apparently not. So these are the first pair I'm attempting on a 2mm needle. Again, I'm using the lovely Jules's Mabel sock pattern for the heel and the toe. And I'm doing these, I'm not doing any contrast in these, I'm just going to knit them straight through. So I started here last night, so I did that last night, and I'm ready to start the heel now. That's the yarn. The yarn was gifted to me from my friend Jessica, who's living in Germany, and I met up with her last year, and this was her gift to me. And it is by Honeybee Knits, who is Melissa. Unfortunately, Melissa isn't dyeing any more yarn just at the moment. She has taken a break, and she's sorting out life things and enjoying life at the moment. So that's her label, Honeybee Knits, and it was called The Mask of the Red Death. And the inspiration for that was Edgar Allan, which I know nothing about. I don't know anything about that. I just know it's lovely colours. It's lovely reds and greys. Yeah, it's showing up quite. Yeah, it's really quite accurate, which is good. It's very nice. It's lovely. It's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and there's 420 meters per 100 grams. So I'm cracking on not too bad with those, and I will see how the 2mm needle will work, and hopefully it'll be a better fit. We'll see how it goes. I do like the texture of it. It definitely is a firmer, giving a firmer sock, and I'm sure that's only for the good. We'll see how the heel fits now on the smaller needle, or maybe I need to go up to the 2.25. We'll see how that goes. Okay, the other thing then that I haven't showed you but I've talked about is my Floozy cardigan, and I've brought it out of quarantine, and which is quite the apt word at the moment, and it is Truly Myrtle Designs. This is the second one. I've knit one for my daughter, and then I decided I would knit one for myself. And I knew at a point I got bored when I was knitting my daughters and thought that'll not happen, and then cast on another one, and it sort of has happened at the same point, so that's why it has been tucked away. But I'm determined to finish it before I cast on another garment, and I really want to get my Fern and Feather sweater cast on because I want to use it in the make along. Not that I'll be entering, but I want to take part. So this is my floozy. I have no idea what you're seeing there. So I have the top done, and the sleeves are on the minders, and I'm right down to the bottom. I have a marker. When I first spoke of it to you, I was at the marker, so I have done a wee bit. I'm just ready to add in another skein, and I'm going to, as I said, just want to hold the needles in case they come off. As I said, I am going to start now the arms because I had purchased all the yarn and then was afraid of running out, so another skein was dyed for me, and I want to get the arms done and then see how much length I need to put on it. And sometimes the armhole, when you do it, and it can drop a little, and I don't want it to be too long, so I'm going to leave the length as it is, and then I'm going to put in the sleeves now. The yarn is from Eden Cottage Yarns. I purchased it exactly this time last year when I was at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. It's her 4-ply. I didn't bring the details, or did I? Let me see. I can show you one of the skeins. That's her band. It's her Hayton 4-ply, and the main color is called Drizzle. There's 350 meters per 100 grams, and it is 80% superfine merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. So that is the main color. And that's the two contrast colors. And if I looked, I probably have the bands of them in the bag, but I'll put the information up on, okay, they're here. Hyssop is one, and the Red Goosefoot. So it's Drizzle, Hyssop, and Red Goosefoot are the colours. But as I say, I'll put those up on the Ravelry page when I get the cardigan added to it. The other thing then that's on the needles just ongoing is the baby blanket. As I say, I'm totally unorganised. I just decided it was a good day, and today is the day I want to put the podcast together. So you can see how much progress I've made. Probably done about an inch. This is the pattern. It's the Seaside Stroll baby blanket. And as I discussed in one of the other podcasts, I did the tube, what's it called? I-cord. Sorry, I did the I-cord cast on, and I'm also doing the I-cord edge, so I just adapted it slightly to allow for that. This lovely stitch marker. Butterfly was from Loop and Lane Handmade on Instagram, and I did a Christmas swap with her. So I do need to get cracking on with this because I think the baby's due in April, so I really do need to focus and get that finished, just in case baby arrives early. So that's the only things that I really have on my needles at the moment, and I am itching to, as I say, get my floozy cardigan, and I showed the yarn for it a couple of episodes ago. I was looking for the pattern there and I couldn't find it. I'm not sure where I've put it, but I do want to get cracking on with it. Then this week brings out the March sock club, and I was looking through just a couple of patterns to see what I would use for it, and I am thinking of using this pattern. It's called Heel Toe Do-Si Do, and it's by the Crazy Sock Lady Designs, Knitting. And I've knitted before. I don't have the socks here because they were a Christmas present, but it's really easy. It's a really easy knit. It's a paid for pattern, and you'll get it on Ravelry. And I think at the moment she's actually doing her patterns with 30% off. So go check that out, and you might pick up a few because all her patterns are lovely. It is, I think, it's really just a 2-row pattern repeat, but it gives you a nice chevron effect, and it works very well with self-striping yarn. My yarn won't be self-striping, but it's really nice with self-striping, and I think if you do the heel flap and gusset, it doesn't really distort the stripes in the yarn. So that's good for a lot of people because it means if you don't want to, you don't have to do a contrasting heel flap and gusset. So I am thinking of possibly using that. Or through the week, Jules from So Sweet Violet was also she did a free pattern. I don't know whether that's still available or not. I didn't check, and I only have this printed out in black and white, but it is her little rabbit socks, and these are knit as scrappy socks, and you have the little bunny tails here to add on. It's a very effective pattern because just where I can't maybe see it very well, but where each colour changes, there's a nice stitch effect, and it sort of highlights the colour change, which is very, very nice. It gives it that wee bit of interest, but again, that would work very well in self-striping. And I have some lovely Felicia yarn from Knit Picks, and I'm dithering because it's in lovely bright colours, and it's something it would be very cheery just at the current situation. So I'm dithering about that. So I will either, and probably by the next time I'm talking to you, I will have the 2 cast on. So I'm thinking of this for my sock club. Depending on the colour that comes in will help decide that. And I'm thinking of this in either the Felicia knit picks that I have, or else I have minis left from my Christmas celebrations box that I used for my snuggle down cowl, and I could use it to knit these as well. They are the more muted tones because obviously it was a winter celebration box, but who's to say that I don't need to put the bunny tails on and I could make these and have them for the winter or come the autumn time. So lots of options there, and the only other thing that I really need to do is finish the baby blanket. So hopefully by the next time I'm chatting to you, I will have some more socks on the needles, I will have the baby blanket finished, my fern and feathers cast on, and you never know what else I will do if I get the urge of cast on-itis. So yeah, that's basically, I think that's everything. There's nothing really else to show you. I did put up yesterday a podcast extra just called Faith or Fear. I know some people have enjoyed the little thoughts that I've been sharing through photos, etc. on Instagram, and it was just something I thought I would put together. So it's up there if you would like to watch it, and it's very appropriate just for what we're going through at the moment, and it brought me a lot of comfort, and hopefully it'll bring someone that watches it comfort too. So I think that's basically everything, apart from, what do we usually have? I check, where's my notes? I told you I was completely disorganized. Oh yes, there was, I don't think there's anything has come in from Posty except my 2mm needles. I ordered them to try to sort out my gauge. I did show you the 52 weeks of socks that had come in last time, and I would say that the sock club will probably come tomorrow or Friday. So I've just missed showing you that, and there was nothing else purchased. And I know it's fine to buy things, and I know everybody's taking their precautions, and when things come into the house I am spraying them with disinfectant if I can, and I'm washing my hands, and if I have anything I let it sit for a while before I put it away. But I just feel it's not fair to put the pressure maybe on people to have to go to the post office, and well, there was nothing really that I needed. So maybe for next time I'll have treated myself to something. So then with other news, just to finish off with, life on the farm just carries on as usual, and we are a wee bit concerned just at times about being able to get some of the minerals and things that come in that are imported, and our supplier said he just wasn't sure about that. So the boys are out sowing some fertilizer to make sure that we have plenty of natural grass, and should we be short on feeds, then we can compensate the food with that. So that's good. And the boys in the summertime then, or later on in the year, we can either bring the grass into the cows, or if the weather's good, we can let the cows out to the grass. So either way, hopefully we'll be fine. And I think that's really it. Life is good. We're trying to be positive, and we're trying to do the best we can to ensure that as many people as possible are kept safe from this terrible virus. And I'm sure, like me, the NHS staff and all the key working staff that are doing their very best to look after us are in the forefront of our minds. It'll be good to remember them, and if you pray, to pray for them and for their families that aren't seeing them as often as they should, and for their families' protection. So I am going to say bye for now, and I hope that you all keep safe, and I will be back to chat with you again very shortly. And don't forget, Vicky, to get in touch with me, and we'll sort out getting you a pattern of your choice. So contact me in any of the ways privately, and we'll get on to that. Keep safe, everyone.